What's up, Kyle Talks? What's up, Chaos Meister? How are we doing today? How's the rogue working out? It's working good. I'm still, you know, I may end up respecking at some point, but I'm pretty happy with it so far. What the big thing I think is that you kind of have to adjust your gameplay as you go along because you have to work with different companions at different points in the story, and they all have different synergies. And if you've spec'd one character to work with a different character and you have to bring a third character in and you lose the second character, the synergy that you had is missing. So it's weird. Like, you're not going to be able to have, this is not a game where you can have permanent companions. You're not going to have two companions that go with you the whole way. You're going to be switching companions in and out based on the missions. And so I've sort of had to get around that mentally because the the idea that I had in my head going into this game was that I was going to have Davin and Nev as my companions. Davin being the tank with the Griffin, and then Nev being the detective. Well, so far we played 8.5 hours yesterday. I'm 4.5 hours in today, so I'm like 13 hours into the game, and I just got my fifth companion, fourth companion. My fourth companion. So the first one you get is Harding, then you get Balara, then you get Nev, and then we just got Lucanus like right before I went AFK for the cat break. So the first mission, well, I guess the intro mission you're working with Nev a little bit too, but the first couple of missions you're working with Harding and Balara, and so you sort of start to give them points, and you sort of spec them out a certain way because you're like, oh, they work together like this, and then all of a sudden you get Nev, and it's like, well, then you got to run. Sorry, and then you got to run like 3 missions where Nev is a must-have character. Like, you can't do the missions without Nev. And I'm fine with that because I want to romance Nev. But I really liked Balara. The problem is Balara doesn't have, at the moment, because I have not respect her, Balara does not have any abilities that synergize with Nev. So I don't have any like detonation combos. Harding, however, does have detonation combos with Nev. So it's very much a system where, right, because exactly, Chaos Meister, I'm used to doing it with a single team as well, and you're not going to be doing it that way here. You do get to adventure in the Crossroads, which is like the open world part of the game. The Crossroads, there you get to be with the two companions you always want to be with. So if you spend a lot of time in the Crossroads, that's where you're going to be spending the most time with your two chosen companions. But all of the missions that I've run so far have required a mandatory one companion. So you have to take that one companion, and then the other one is either an optional companion or it's going to be someone you get along the way. Now that may change deeper into the game, but that's something that I had to get over was, oh, this is not a pick a team and stick with the team type of game. This is a you're going to be working with all the different companions at one point or another along the way. So once you get over that mental hurdle, it's fine. Just understand the system that they have in place, and it's a lot of fun. Also, Avowed is going to be like this. Avowed, they've already said you're going to be swapping characters out constantly to do the missions. So even though, yes, I do plan on romancing Nev, I have got out of my head that I'm always going to have Nev with me because that's just not going to be the case. It's going to be, you're basically, what you have here is you have an assembled team, kind of like the Avengers, and then you're going off and doing missions with different members of the team because they have the connections that are required to do the missions. Like, they know the contact point, or they're part of the faction that you're going to talk to, or they have some sort of special reason for being there. That's how it's been so far. Right. I think most players will just like ignore companions once they meet them if they don't like. Baldur's Gate 3 is a good example of that. Like, I didn't give a shit about anybody other than Gale, Shadowheart, and Lae'zel. Like, Will, don't care. Fuck off, Will. An Astarion, fuck off, Astarion. I didn't care. Like, and as a result, I never did the Astarion or Will storylines because I didn't have them in my party. and I chose to ignore them. This game, you don't get to do that because you're required to work with everybody to complete the missions, which I like. It shows off the voice talent, it shows off the acting, it shows off, you know, it's a different way of doing things. And I think once you get over that and once you understand it, it's a great game. But it is a challenge for some people to get over that.
Been
because
quiet?
they're like, no, that's not like Origins.
I know. Just thinking.